Hi everyone, Jared here. Time for the market video update. We've got a couple of great things to look at, so let's get right to it. I think we've got some really great longer term positions that are setting up. And again, by longer term positions, I mean something we can put a pending order on, kind of let play out over maybe a day or two or three, that kind of thing. So, again, a pretty lackluster day in the U.S. markets. Here it looks like we're going to end the Dow with about 30 points, which is what we've seen all week long. It's just 20 points up, 20 points down. That's kind of how the market's been closing, and so on. The S&P is up just a little bit. Gold is down a little bit, but still down from some of its highs, but still it's positive. Oil's right back down again. It's just these markets have kind of been doing this, and this has been one of those weeks where just nothing has been going on. But we've still had some good pending orders. We've still had some nice reversals on some of these other levels that have played out fairly nicely. And so we're going to keep doing that, and we're just going to hope that we get a little more volatility and more big things happening next week. The big mover today was actually the euro dollar. We had the interest rate announcement in the press conference, excuse me, and the euro went kind of crazy during that press conference, and it actually shot up quite a bit. Everything else just kind of bumped around, didn't do anything too exciting. For the U.S., we did see that we had some pretty negative numbers on retail sales. That came out pretty bad, so about negative 0.2%. Unemployment claims came out a little bit higher than expected, so all of that's kind of bad news, and it's really just not allowing any of the markets to really go anywhere. Coming up on Friday, we have the PPI at the UK Open. This isn't a super big important mover, but it moves a little bit. And then we have a little bit of news coming out of the US and Canada trade balance. That's fairly decent. Okay, so what we're getting right now is we've seen a little bit of reversals on some of the dollar pairs. We've seen quite a bit of strength over the last 2 weeks or so on the dollar against euro, pound, Aussie, some of those other pairs. But as you can see on the larger time frame here, look at this. This is our daily chart on the dollar index. And you can see the dollar index is kind of topping out here. It's kind of got this big double top. It's getting back to the highs of the end of 2010, early 2011. So about a year ago, and it's just right up to those again. That's about 8,200, and it's just kind of sitting there, and looks like it's going to have a little bit of trouble. But is it going to be the big stopping point? We will see. Let's have a little look at how the currencies are setting up. First of all, the euro dollar, like we said with the news today, the euro dollar had a pretty big rally right here. Ended up kind of pulling back to this trend line that we had in the works here, and then ended up shooting up pretty well from there. So we had a over 100 pip run on the euro, but I still think this double bottom is pretty crucial, pretty important, and that is definitely a good reversal point. When you have a double bottom like that on the 1 hour and the 4 hour charts, those are pretty. That's pretty indicative of a pretty strong turnaround. But the thing to keep an eye on this euro here is that we've got this pretty solid downtrend channel right here, and the euro's just kind of started to find support at that fourth daily fib, but the channel is still very much intact, and the euro was kind of middle towards the slightly lower part of the channel, and it looks like it's trying to make its way back up to the upper part of the channel, but I'm not really looking for any kind of major reversal at this point. In fact, I think that the euro may try to run up even potentially and get a little bit closer to this 4 hour and daily gap, which is why I think that our 61.8 fib level here is going to be the interesting one. That's coming into contact with the daily channel. That's coming into contact with a pretty extreme fib level. I think this is all going to be good turnaround area. So the daily fib's about, or excuse me, the 61.8 is about 29.15. So just to kind of round it off and keep it simple, I'm looking for maybe about 2,900 for that 61.8 fib reversal to happen. And I think there's going to be an easy 50 pips, if not 100 or 150 pips, once the market reaches this level and the reversal to take it back down. So I think that's going to be a nice sell limit point right around 12900, 129.15 with stops. You got to get your stops up here above. So this is going to be, a bit of exposure. We're looking for probably 35 to even 50 pips on the stop here, but I think there's some good activity to take this pair on down. So that's what we're going to be looking for in the euro. I think that's the best move for now. As far as any other sells go, I don't think I'll be getting into anything until it gets a little bit higher, and there might be some short-term buy breakouts to be watching for. You can see that this is starting to consolidate and kind of getting here. It's mixed up in the 1 hour gap, so I think that our best bet is going to be to wait for a bit of a spike, see if we can get it up there, and then trade it back on down. Pound dollar is looking kind of interesting. We're seeing the pound dollar um, try to kind of work its way up here a little bit. This one is very, very much within the channel as well still, so it's lower part of the first part of this channel, but the channel actually goes pretty deep, and the pound's still just kind of bouncing on this big support. Remember, this support goes back quite a ways. This is a year and a half or so of support, so not surprised to see the pound having a heck of a time getting through that, and it may not even be able to. So for the short term right now, I'm looking to see if we can get another test of this level, and that's where we have this ascending trend line right here. You can see that this is a pretty good little level, and I think if the market can get back to about 53.30, maybe right around there through that level, then we should be able to see a breakout and a nice continuation down. So once again, probably about 53.30 I think is what I'd like to see. It's about 53.42, 43 right in that general area, and I think that would be a nice continuation back down. Otherwise, there will possibly be some of this activity and some of this continuation up right here. There's a little bit of a trend line break, as you can see on this 5-minute chart, and it looks like it might make its way up there. So we'll see. Of course, stops just below this consolidation area. We're looking at pretty minimal exposure, maybe about 15, 20 pips right around there, and with an attempt to take this back up into these highs here, which is just about 20 pips, nothing too crazy. So that's an alternative scenario for a quick buy, is just basically taking the trade where it is with stops below here. Otherwise, we're going to look for a sell at about 53.30 break. And we're going to see if this thing, I'm still looking at this level, and I think that we might be able to get this at least into this 50% fib, which would give us about 40 pips or so from current market price. And I think that's a real possibility. And I would look for a reversal still at about that 61.8, which is about 5,400. So 15400 should be our reversal level to take this pair back down and hopefully attempt these lows once again. Euro yen, same kind of thing. Just real quick, I'm looking at the euro yen to possibly make its way up into some of these levels. You can see that the euro yen is just kind of, it's slowly making its way down here. But I think with this double bottom that's very similar to the euro dollar, a short-term reversal from this 50% fib. I'm only looking nothing too big. This is 98.75, and I'm looking because we have a lot of consolidation back here. That's a daily pivot point. That's a fib level. A lot of good things going on there. So if this makes it up into the 25 or so pips, I think there's probably 30. Well, it's going to be tough, but probably 25 to 50 pips on the reversal once it hits this 98.75. So look at this 98.75. See if we can trade it back down to even this gap right there. So maybe about a 30 pip target would be safe, but sell off of this 50% fib level 98.75, and let's see if we can take this pair back down just a little bit. And I think that should be a good opportunity. Pound yen, don't really care about that one, looking kind of messy. Aussie dollar is a little bit messy looking as well. I think that the Aussie dollar may be headed for a break of this high right here. You can see the high, which is about 0.37580, and I think the Aussie is going to be able to break that. But we're going to see if it's going to actually be able to break this descending trend line as well. So that's going to be one to keep an eye on. I don't know what I'm going to be doing with that one, but at this point, I don't have an exact target entry, anything I'm looking for, besides maybe trying to just buy it off of some of this rejection on these trend lines and take it up, but no specific entry on that one just yet. And gold, real quick here. Gold is breaking the highs. Remember, we talked about this 1640, 40, low 40s. Definitely broken above that, and it's got all the way up into the 1660 area. Remember, I said if it got about $20 above, which it definitely did, this would start to get a little bit concerning. But still, what we have is a very intact medium-term downtrend on gold here. So it's just coming off the lows of some of these channels, and this could easily run up to that 5th daily fib and reverse right there, about 1690, and still be able to head all the way back down into this 1540 and beyond. So I think gold is probably going to continue to trickle up. That's going to be all part of this dollar reversal on the short term, kind of just the recovery. But I think we're going to get some bounce on this guy, and we're going to continue down as well. So that will help very nicely our causes on some of these pairs making their way up into these highs and reversing and coming back down. So great setups, great things happening. Good luck, guys. We'll see you in the chat.